Hello, Board Game Shenanigans here. This video is the start of a series of videos which I'm going to be titling Board Gaming 101, which is a list of tips and tricks and other thoughts and opinions on board gaming, board game collecting, and interacting in the board gaming community. The first video in this series is titled Sentimental Value and Learning When to Move On. And by this, I mean there'll be times when you own a board game and it kind of just sits in your shelf or in storage and you don't really play it anymore. And it's about you as a board gamer deciding you want to get rid of it, you no longer want to own it, and it's about getting that mentality where you can accept parting with a game that you might no longer want to play anymore. So I'm going to cover a few examples of games which I feel I have a sentimental attachment to, and what I kind of really plan on doing with these games that are kind of sitting in my collection not being played. An obvious game to cover is Monopoly. And with this particular copy of Monopoly, I did buy because it was a Zelda themed version of the game, which I am a big Zelda fan from the video game side of it. And I did buy this game, but honestly, because it's Monopoly, I think I've played it to death. I no longer really have a big attachment to Monopoly. When I was younger, I did enjoy it a bit, but I never really played it correctly when I was a child. And when I grew up and played the official rules as the rule book states, and also how the house rules that I played with other people, playing like when I was older, it was a very different experience to what I used to have. And I did play it with my wife a lot when we first met, because again, it was one of those bonding experiences where we both put together a game that we had played when we were younger, and then were assigned to play again when we were adults. And it was kind of like the same every time, the same type of things happen. It's just luck based, and you go for the same properties, and one of you wins. And now this one does look nice because of the Zelda theme to it, but overall, it's not something that I plan to really keep, and it just kind of sits in a bag, and I don't really play it. So overall, Monopoly is a game that I don't really feel the need to own anymore. It's more one that just kind of sits around, and this particular version, despite my love of Zelda, I don't think I need to keep it just based on that fact alone. The next game is Betrayal on the House on the Hill, which it was the first modern board game I actually played as an adult, which I never played other games like this before when I was growing up, so it was quite a unique experience to go in my first time with this game and encountering the traitor mechanic, which is unique to this game. This was a proper full game with loads of pieces that I first went and played, and it was like a unique experience on my first time encountering a game with a traitor, which I'd never played that before growing up. And I played this, I think, when I was about 18 the first time, and it kind of blew me away. I was like, whoa, this is what board games are like. I've missed out on this for most of my life. I've only been playing video games. Where's board games been? And then I played this, and it was a completely different experience for me. I had a good time, and even though now it kind of just sit on my shelf, I don't really play it, I do still value the game in a different way. And also, I think it's very charming in the way it's goofy with its badly made miniatures compared to other games I own. It does look funny by comparison these days, and I do still feel like playing it from time to time. It's just generally you need more than three people, really, three minimum, but I think that it's better with more people to play and find out who the traitor is. I think it'll be more, especially when it's more of a secret traitor game. I think it gets more fun that way. And generally, that's why I kind of hold on to it. And I also have the expansion for it, so that's another reason why this is something I have sentimental value and do decide to keep. The last example I have is a more trading card game, which is Yu-Gi-Oh! And Yu-Gi-Oh! For me, I think it's the most sentimental type of game that I still have and own and have played more recently. And this is because I remember starting playing this game 20 years ago in 2003, and I still own my same cards that I owned back then when it started, and I've been collecting for many years for this. But many times during those 20 years, I have stopped playing and not been playing it again. And the last time I really actually played this game was in 2017, and that was around the time they introduced the Link summoning monsters, which I feel at the time kind of broke the game, and it made me lose my entire interest in playing it. And I know they've kind of revised that since, but overall, it never really has come back to me playing it. I don't really have the same people I used to play with. So generally, I've been holding on to the cards and not really playing with them. But I have played more recently in 2020, 2021 when they released the new video game, Master Duel. So I still do enjoy the actual game, but I hold on to all the cards due to the sentimental value I have with being a Yu-Gi-Oh player and collecting them and still having my childhood cards. And I can already really tell that one day I probably will be playing Yu-Gi-Oh again. So this is another type of game where you want to kind of hold on to simply because it's one of those forever games that you never get sick of. And that's another way that you might want to determine if something's worth getting rid of. Do you think you will want to play it again? Or do you think you're going to never play it again? Or how easy it is to get everything back? So a game like a trading card game, it's going to be very difficult to pick everything up again because you've got so many variations on the cards that you have. So to close this video, I think that having sentimental value for a game is perfectly fine and healthy and normal. And I think that trying to learn when you need to move on from a game is probably one of the more difficult things you can do as a board gamer. Personally, for me, some of these games I've shown, I think they're more easy for me to just dispose of and not need to bother with anymore. Whereas a game like Yu-Gi-Oh! I've sank so much time into and it's been such a big part of my life that I think I'll decide to keep it a lot longer than other games, such as Betrayal on the House on the Hill or Monopoly. These games I don't think I need to own anymore, and I know I can easily pick up another copy whenever I feel the need. So really, the value you place on these games, you can weigh them against what you think is worth selling or getting rid of, and also what has the strongest value to you. Some games might be worthless in the grand scheme of things in the costs, but to you it might be the best game ever. There's nothing wrong with holding on to a copy of Monopoly that you've had since you were a kid just because you enjoyed it and it means a lot more to you than it would mean to other people. So you have to consider that as a board gamer when determining what the best games are and what belongs on your gaming shelf. If you like the video, please subscribe and like the video and share it, and please comment what games are sentimental to you and what you think are games that you never really want to get rid of and you want to keep as long as possible. Thanks. Bye.